Cut no gang, man. The growth of bacteria and the reproduction in the barbershop, man, man.
If I need a cut, nah.
I'm about to get you together.
When seen under a microscope, bacteria look like tiny bags. They generally consist of an outer cell wall that contains a liquid called protoplasm. Bacterial cells manufacture their own food through what they absorb from the surrounding environment. They give off waste products and grow and reproduce. The life cycle of bacteria consists of two distinct phases, the active stage and the inactive stage. During the active stage, bacteria grow and reproduce. Bacteria multiply best in warm, dark, damp, or dirty places. That's why jail and prison is always cold, cut no gang. It's to keep the bacteria down. When conditions are favorable or warm and cozy, as how we like it, bacteria grow and reproduce. When they reach their largest size, they divide into two new cells. This division is called binary fission. The cells that are formed as a result of binary fission are called daughter cells and are produced every 20 to 60 minutes, depending on the bacteria. For example, the infection pathogen Staphylococcus undergoes cell division every 27 to 30 minutes. When conditions become unfavorable, bacteria either die or become inactive. Inactive stage. Certain bacteria, such as bacteria that cause tetanus, among others, can form spores by coating themselves with wax-like outer shells during unfavorable conditions. These spores protect the bacteria and enable them to withstand long periods of famine, dryness, and unsuitable temperatures. In this condition, spores can be blown out about and are harmed by disinfectants, heat, or cold. If favorable conditions such as moist environment return, the spores can change into the inactive form and begin to grow and reproduce. There can be no bacteria infection without the presence of pathogenic bacteria. Therefore, if pathogenic bacteria are eliminated, clients cannot become infected. And inflammation is a condition in which the tissue of the body reacts to injury, irritation, or infection. And inflammation is characterized by redness, heat, pain, and or swelling. Pus is a fluid containing white blood cells, bacteria, and dead cells, and is byproduct of the infection process. The presence of pus is a sign of bacterial infection. A local infection, such as a pimple or abscess, is confined to a particular part of the body and appears as a lesion containing pus. A systematic infection where the pathogen has disturbed throughout the body rather than stand in one area or organ. Staphylococcus are among the most common bacteria that affect humans and are commonly found in our environment, including our bodies, although most strains do not make us ill. Staph bacteria can pick up on doorknobs, countertops, and other surfaces put in the barbershop. They are more frequently spread through skin-to-skin contact, such as shaking hands or through the use of unclean tools or implements, and be very dangerous. After each use cut, now gang, make sure you dust the pathogens off your clippers just before you disinfect them. Staph is responsible for food poisoning and a wide range of diseases, including toxic shock syndrome. Some types of infection staph bacteria are highly resistant to conventional treatments such as antibiotics. An example is the staph infection called methicillin resistance Staphylococcus aureus. Historically, MRSA occurred most frequently among persons with weakened immune system or among people who had undergone medical procedures today. It has become more common in otherwise healthy people. Clients who appear completely healthy may bring this organism into the shop where can affect others. Some people carry the bacteria and are not even aware of the infection, but the people they infect may show more obvious signs and symptoms. MRSA initially appears as a skin infection, presenting as pimples, rash, or boils that can be difficult to cure without proper treatment. The infection becomes systematic and can have devastating consequences that can result in death. Because these highly resident bacteria strains, it is important to clean and disinfect all tools and implements used on customers. Also, do not perform services if the client's skin, scalp, or neck shows visible signs of abrasions or infection. When a disease spreads from one person to another, the disease is said to be contagious disease. Known as communicable disease, some of the more common contagious disease that prevent barbers from serving a client are the common cold, ringworm, pink eye, and viral infections. The most common way these infections spread is through dirty hands, especially under the fingernails and the webs between the fingernails and the webs between the fingers. That's why cutting up gang, we keep our fingers low and we always wash our hands. Contagious disease can also be spread by contaminating implements, cuts, infected nails, or open spores, pus, mouth and nose discharge, shared drinking cups, sharing phone and towels, uncovered coughing or sneezing, and spitting in public also spread germs. A virus is a submicroscopic particle that infects and resides in the cells of a biological organism. A virus is capable of replication only through taking over the host cell's reproductive function. Viruses are also some that can only be seen under most significant and powerful microscopes. They cause common colds and other respiratory infections. Some of the viruses that affect humans are measles, mumps, chickenpox, smallpox, rabies, yellow fever, hepatitis, HIV, which causes AIDS, and the newest one now in the USA, monkeypox. One difference between virus and bacteria is that a virus can live and reproduce only by taking over other cells and becoming one of them, while bacteria can live and reproduce on their own. Another difference is that while bacteria infections can usually be treated with specific antibiotics, viral infections cannot. And viruses are hard to kill without harming the host cells in the process. When available, vaccination can prevent viruses from growing in the body. There are many vaccines available for viruses, but not all viruses have vaccines. There are vaccines available for hepatitis B. Biofilms are colonies of microorganisms that adhere to environmental surfaces, as well as the human body. They secrete a sticky, hard to penetrate protective coating that cements them together. Biofilm grows into a complex structure with many kinds of microbes. The sticky matrix substance holds communities together, making them very hard to pierce with antiseptics and disinfection. It keeps the body a chronic inflammatory state that is painful and inhibits healing. One action of biofilm community is to resist the body defense mechanisms. Biofilms are usually not visible and must grow very large to be seen without a microscope. Dental plaque is an example of a visible human biofilm. Numerous persistent infections using sterile implements are associated with biofilms that are not visible. Algae colonies on ponds and slime in drains are examples of environmental biofilms. Because biofilms are hard to detect, their presence and effects seems to be underestimated. They are one of the most significant scientific discoveries of the past few decades. Though we have much more to learn, using infection control precaution, including standard precaution, cleaning and disinfecting and sterilization is the best method of prevention at the present time. Disease-causing microorganisms that are carried in the body by blood or body fluids such as hepatitis and HIV are called bloodborne pathogens. In the barbershop, the spread of bloodborne pathogens is possible during hair cutting and shaving services. Again, cut no game. Make sure you clean your clippers first before you disinfect them after each use around spreading any pathogens. Hepatitis is a bloodborne virus that causes disease and can damage the liver. In general, it is difficult to contract hepatitis. However, hepatitis is easier to contract than HIV because hepatitis can be present in all body fluids of those who are infected. In addition, unlike HIV, hepatitis can live on the surface without the body for long periods of time. For this reason, it is vital that all surfaces that customers come in contact with are thoroughly cleaned and disinfected. There are 3 types of hepatitis that are concerns for barbers: hepatitis A, hepatitis B, and hepatitis C. HBV is the most difficult to kill on surface, so check the label of the disinfectant you use to be sure that the product is effective against the HBV. Hepatitis B and hepatitis C are spread from person to person through blood and less often through other bodily fluids. HIV and AIDS. It's the virus that causes acquired immune deficiency syndrome. AIDS is a disease that breaks down the body immune system. HIV is the spread from person to person through blood and less often through other body fluids such as semen. A person can be infected with HIV for many years without showing symptoms, but testing can determine whether a person is infected within 6 months after exposed to the virus. Sometimes people who are HIV positive have never been tested and do not even have the potential to infect others. HIV is spread mainly through the sharing of needles and unprotected sex. Less commonly, HIV is spread through accidents with needles in healthcare settings. The virus is less likely to enter the bloodstream through cuts and sores. Holding hands, hugging, kissing, sharing food, or using household items such as telephone or toilet seats does not spread HIV. If you accidentally cut a client's skin, the tool would be contaminated with whatever might be in the client's blood, including HIV. You should not continue to use the implement without cleaning and disinfecting it. Continuing to use a contaminated implement without cleaning and disinfecting it puts you and others in the barbershop at risk of infection. Fungi are single cells that grow in irregular masses that include molds, mildews, and yeast. They can produce contagious diseases such as ringworm, mildew, and another fungus affects plants or grows on objects but does not cause human infection in the barbershop. The most frequently encountered fungal infection resulting from hair surfaces is TINEA barbae, also known as barber's itch. A TINEA barbae is a superficial fungal infection caused by a variety of diplomats that commonly affect the skin. It is primarily limited to the bearded areas of the face and neck or around the scalp. This infection occurs almost exclusively in older adult males. A person with TINEA barbae may have deep inflamed or non-inflamed patches of skin of the face or the nape of the neck. TINEA barbae is a similar to TINEA capitis, a fungal infection of the scalp characterized by the red papules or spots at the opening of the hair follicles. Barbers must clean and disinfect clipper blades to avoid spreading scalp and skin infections. The risk of spreading skin and scalp infections can reduce by first removing all visible hair and debris from the clippers, followed by a thorough cleaning and disinfecting of the non-electrical parts. You can use compressed air instead of a stiff brush to remove hair and debris from clippers before cleaning and disinfecting them. Parasites are organisms that grow, feed, and shelter on or inside another organism, while contributing nothing to survival of that organism. They must have a host to survive. Parasites can live on or inside of humans and animals. They also can be found in food, on plants, trees, and water. Humans can acquire internal parasites by eating fish or meat that has not been properly cooked. External parasites that affect humans on or in the skin include ticks, lice, fleas, and mites. Services should never be performed on a customer with visible signs of a parasitic infection. Always refer to the client to a physician for treatment. The two types of parasites commonly encountered in the barbering environment is head lice and a type of parasite responsible for contagious disease and the conditions. The second commonly we encounter is scabies. It's also the contagious skin disease and is caused by the itch mite, which burrows under the skin. Contagious disease and conditions caused by parasite should only be treated by a doctor. Contaminated countertops, tools, and equipment should be thoroughly cleaned and then disinfected with an EPA registered disinfectant for the time recommended by the manufacturer or with a bleach solution for 10 minutes. Immunity refers to the ability of the body to destroy and resist pathogens and recognize infection. Immunity against disease can be either natural or acquired and is a sign of good health. Natural immunity is partly inherited and partly developed through healthy living. Acquired immunity is immunity that the body develops after overcoming a disease through inoculation, such as flu and vaccinations. And if y'all like content like this, make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe, and I'm gonna see y'all again a little later. Yeah.